Hi there, Bearcats and Dragons. Welcome back to writing for this week. We've spent so much time carefully planning out our very own folk tales, and today we finally get to start writing it all out. Today we're going to write the first page of our story. We're going to write out the beginning. Great. So, things we want to keep in mind when we're writing out the beginning of our story, we want to make sure the first page includes a mention of the setting, includes some of our talking characters, and includes dialogue. Who remembers what dialogue is? Take a moment and think. Dialogue. Let's see if you were right. Dialogue is words that tell when someone is saying. So you can spot dialogue when you see quotation marks in a story. Let's take a look at this page from Tortoise and the Hare. Do you see the dialogue in this page? That's right. The dialogue in this page is right here. I can tell because I see quotation marks, these little lines here and here that show where the talking starts and where the talking ends. You're going to be able to include those in your story to show where your characters are talking. Here's how you make quotation marks with your computer keyboard. You're going to hold down the Shift button, and you're going to press this button right here to make the quotation marks at the beginning and the end of your talking characters talking. It's very similar to when you were using this button over here to make the colon to write out the time for Mr. Richmond's math lessons. You can also use the wonderful Shift button if you hold it down and tap any of our letters at the same time. Then you'll make a capital letter for the beginnings of your sentences to make sure that your story is written the best it can be. So hold down the Shift and press this button for your quotation marks for your dialogue, or hold down the Shift and press any of these keys to make your capital letters. Today, when we're writing the beginning of our story, the parts of our planning sheet we're really going to focus on are the main characters, the setting, and also what we decided is going to happen in the beginning of our story. You might take a peek at some of these other boxes, but these are the three you're really going to want to think about for the beginning of your story. Now, I've included pages just like this inside of your project right underneath your planning sheet, so you can look at the planning sheet and type in all in the same spot. Here's a spot for you to be able to type in your name if you click here, just like all of the text boxes we've been using in writing for the last few weeks. I also included this friendly reminder to include dialogue, setting, and talking characters in the beginning of your story. And I got you started off with the once upon a time. Then you can click that and type across these lines and include all of the wonderful actions and talking that you have made up for your characters. I'm going to show you a sample of my story next. So here is the beginning of my story. You see, I wrote my first and last name at the top, and I made sure I paid attention to these things while I was writing in my story. My story says, once upon a time, a bear named Grumpy Bear lived in a beautiful forest. Oh, there we go. I already have my setting. Check. One day, Grumpy Bear said, I will build a swing set so I can play with my friend Hummingbird. Do you see my dialogue? Where's the dialogue? Point to it. That's right. My dialogue starts right here because I can tell because there are the quotation marks showing that this is what Grumpy Bear said. I also included the word said here to show what Grumpy Bear is saying. Pay attention to and notice that sometimes I write it before the talking and sometimes I write it after, but I usually include the word said or exclaimed or called to show that that's what's happening because I notice that's what good writers do in my favorite books that I read. All right, let's keep going. So he decided to build a swing set. He began to build a big blue swing set in his favorite spot in the forest. He began to put the parts together, but it fell down. Oh no, he said. I will have to try again. So here we have more talking, and I made sure to include my quotation marks. He started a second time, but the parts kept falling down. Grumpy Bear felt frustrated. I also included how my character was feeling. So this is one option that you have. You can type in, just like I did, into the slide that's underneath your planning sheet. Or if you'd like to give yourself some handwriting practice and you have paper at home, you can also just make your own writing paper at home. Here's what I did. I drew the picture box at the top. I wrote my name right up here. And then this is all the exact same words that are on this page. I just decided to write it out so I could practice my handwriting. And I included, and then I took a picture of it and I was able to send it in. So it's up to you. You have two choices. You can type it out on the slide provided, or you can write it out and send it in to your teachers. So today, you're going to write out the beginning of your folktale. Don't forget to include setting and talking characters, and of course, that dialogue. You can type it up or you can write it out. Happy writing!